Okay, so hey, finally got around to watching the episode. I've been really busy with my move recently, and honestly, my apartment is falling apart, and I've had to get maintenance people in there, so watching anime hasn't exactly been a priority for a few days now. Um, so yeah, Berserk episode 6. I tried to find something positive to say about this episode, but this is by far the worst episode of the series so far. Okay, let's start. To begin with, it just gets really dumb in the first few seconds. I mean, you had that kind of air horn sound with some of the worst CG I've ever seen for a bunch of corpses. And this was like 5 seconds into the episode. God, that was just awful. The sudden transitions are coming back in like always and just ruining pretty much any and every moment where you might have, a slightly good scene, but they just make these jarring transitions. It's just really, really bad. What else? Skull Knight. This was one thing I noticed this episode. It seemed even worse than the recent movies for him because they were kind of. He kind of looks really metallic, whereas in the manga, his appearance is always kind of given this indication that his armor is more organic, like it's kind of fused to his body. Whereas this, it was just like, oh, he's wearing like some sort of a not even truly armor, just more of a metallic cast over his skin. It doesn't really match the original art or the intended message by Mura. Let's see what else here. Oh, the little eclipse flashback that Guts had there when he was talking with Skull Knight about what he was going to do. It just the drawing, the art was so bad during that. I don't know what was going on, but all of the limb, all of Guts's limbs were elongated. It did not look good, and it was just a short little thing, but ooh, really bad. The sound effects were just somehow worse this week, and I know they've been bad before with like Guts' sword and everything, but this week was just kind of a new level of bad. I don't know what happened, but just some really poor choices were made there. The soup spilling in the dining hall scene, just what the hell was that? That was like some Sonic Adventure level physics interaction there. That was just wow. Okay, but what else? The dialogue, which is something that I've noticed before, but it was especially prevalent this week, just comes across as being very stilted and awkward. It's not well written at all. And I know everybody says Mura had involvement with this, but to me, it appears more that it was a case of them kind of forcing his hand and making him try and get all the story beats in there. It's like Josh Trank Fantastic Four level involvement in writing the story at this point, where the studio probably just completely overrode him on everything. Um, let's see here. The exposition for all the characters, the side characters, was blown through, especially the torturers. What the hell was going on there? Like, it pretty much took some characters that were made to feel very human in the manga and just kind of, it just kind of removed any good elements about them and just it's kind of gotten to the point, and this is especially prevalent with Furness, in that all these characters are kind of becoming caricatures of their personalities in the manga. They don't even feel like the same characters. Everybody is way too two-dimensional. It I don't know what's going on there, but it's taking the excellent writing of Berserk and stunting it severely. So there's that. Let's see here. Yeah, it's gotten so bad at this point that I can like if I actually did the research, I could probably pull up entire pages of the story that are missing from each episode. That's not good either. Let's see here. Uh, the river this week. The river scene. Oh God, what was that purple ooze mess? It did not look like a river of souls. No, it just looked like a cloth that somebody was trying to that threw a bunch of black blotches on there to try and simulate faces. It was just ooh. Um, the movements of every character was especially bad this week. It was somehow even more stilted. Hold on, I'm gonna have to switch the camera to my other hand. My arm's getting tired here. Yeah, it's no, just too stilted. Everything just looks bad. The orgy scene went for like this artistic slant to kind of make up for the fact that they can't show sex or anything overly graphic, and it just came across as muddled, and all the little artistic shots that they were doing, like they were trying to emulate Masao Yusa somehow, and it just okay. Few more points here. Jotunheim, when he got pushed off the cliff, I had paused, and when I looked back, I had to look at the hands, and they were so poorly drawn. Like, okay, I took a few sketching courses over the years, and, you know, I know what it's supposed to look like when you're drawing good hands, and those were just, God, it was like third grader level drawing. What the hell? Let's see here. Two more points. Yeah, well, I already kind of made this one. It's kind of become more of a caricature of the manga at this point. I mean, it's not even really the same story. It's like the creative team they're telling a lot of the same story points, but there's nothing really connecting them together. And I don't even know. I mean, I guess, it was shortened, but I've made this point before. Why are you even adapting it if you're not going to adapt it fully? Like, why even try and adapt a series if you're not going to do it justice? Okay. Yeah. This was definitely the worst episode yet. Like, the CG was particularly bad in this episode to the point where it reminded me of Xavier the Renegade Angel, that old Adult Swim show from years ago, because the CG was so awkward. But in that case, it was awkward on purpose. It was like intentionally bad. I mean, it was designed to make you feel uncomfortable. This, not so much. Just, well, whatever. The entire purpose of adapting a manga into an anime is like you're trying to create something that will get people into the manga, like Shokugeki no Soma or the Bleach adaptation, one of those big shonen adaptations, kind of acting as a good advertisement for the manga to where it's worth watching, but it's more encouraging you to just go and read the source material. And the other kind, of course, being to act as a replacement for the manga, which that does not happen very often. It's extremely rare cases. But the point is, this Berserk adaptation is neither of those. It's not a good adaptation at all because it's taken out all of the subtlety from the manga, and it's somehow still telling. I can't even say it's telling the same story because it's telling a story that it's basically a bad Wikipedia summary. It's going over the story beats, but it's missing everything that makes Berserk good, and instead glorifying the violence without actually showing the violence, and kind of trying to just make it dark for edginess sake, rather than dark because it feels realistic. Whatever. Anyway, next week, hopefully I'll be back to a quality format if my apartment isn't still destroyed and I can move back in. So, yeah, till then.